Stage and Screen with Andy Snowden. Let us know what you want to hear on WhatsApp with the number 01978 540 410. We love local. Calon FM.
Beth Fowler, Beauty and the Beast, taken from the stage show production of Disney's Beauty and the Beast. And some might say it describes perfectly myself and my next guest. Coming to the Theatre Colwyn on the 8th of September is a very unique and never before seen evening of fun, challenging interaction at the theatre with the most iconic quizzing personality on the planet. It's ITV's very own chaser, the Beast Mark Labbett, delivered to you on stage by the legendary entertainer and BBC broadcaster Owen Money. And I am so pleased to say that I am joined on the Stage and Screen show by the Beast himself, Mr. Mark Labbett. Good afternoon, sir.
Hello.
Hello to you, and I think we better get it out in the open now. You are a Sheffield United fan. We're in Wrexham here. Last season we gave you a little bit of a scare, a little bit of a run for your money. Or have we got over that? Are we cool?
Oh, of course we are. I mean, it's an interesting thing now. It's really spots. Suddenly now overseas investors are looking and thinking, wow, you know, for a couple of million or whatever, you can really make a charge on the EFL if you've got the right people.
Yes, indeed. But you had a terrific season at the end of last season, so as did we. Yeah. So all's well that ends well, I suppose.
Yeah, so now we've got the joy of being in the EPL, where the old maxim of never taking knife to a gunfight appears to apply.
I know the fans. I mean, I suppose that is football, and I don't think anybody. That nobody tells the new owners, you know, you're going to be hated even if you win. So, you know, go with it.
Well, and also they go, oh, thanks for putting 50 million. How about another 50 million? You know, it's ridiculous. Well, no, you just look at it and go, oh, how on earth do they? I mean, anything worse than the Premier League? Well, as you guys might find, the Championship is the kiss of death. Yeah. Because if you're not putting like 50 million a year in, you practically appall for. Because they reckon 8 of the teams in the Championship spend more than 100% of their income on their wages, and that's insanity.
Very true. Very true.
Anyway, good luck with you guys in Division 2. I think it's actually more fun to stay there, I reckon. But anyway, I would say that.
Well, I think that's the problem we're finding. It was great fun last season when we were winning by a cricket score every week. Now it's becoming a bit of a stretch because, you know, we're playing far better teams. So, but everyone knew that was going to happen. But it is what it is, I suppose.
On that happy note, anyway.
But anyway, you are indeed one of the most iconic and I think it's fair to say feared quizzers in the country. You started your career as a teacher. I wonder, was you a feared teacher, I wonder?
I wouldn't have said so. I'm generally pretty reasonable, I always thought. You know, it's obviously other people might... Because I'm thinking of something called blimey, I wouldn't be that far away from retiring now if I was still a teacher, but... Yeah. I used to think I could always go back to being a teacher, but now I'm thinking, oh, maybe not.
Yeah, but I did notice, because I ask everybody about lockdown, but I noticed yesterday when I was doing a bit of research on you that you did a celebrity supply teacher thing on the BBC, which is a terrific idea. Was that good fun?
It was. I really enjoyed it. And I got so many people saying, wow, because I joke I'm okay at general knowledge. I'm good with numbers. I came sixth in the World Mental Calculations Championships 20 years ago. Right. My party trick's the 143 times table. I'm pretty good with numbers. So I did this bit. I got so many people feedback. And yet I remember I had one person who was a numeracy specialist who absolutely ripped into me because I didn't use the approved language. And I almost went, yeah, but it works.
Yeah. But I see videos now on online and on social media and whatnot of what would appear to be mathematical geniuses giving people advice and tips on how to do things like long division or, you know, their 150 times table or what have you. And it always seems a lot easier now than it did when we were kids. And I don't know if schools aren't teaching it right.
Well, yes, it got better. And I think one of the other things as well is, to be fair, is a lot of people would. I have nothing but respect for primary school teachers because it's ridiculous. You've got to know 10 or 11 subjects well.
Yeah.
I'm really lucky. I only have to know one subject to be an expert. And the problem is, I think if you're taught by someone who's a bit scared of numbers, it transmits itself. I know as a secondary school teacher, you could always tell almost which primary school kids came from because they were so much more confident with their maths because they've been taught by a specialist.
Yeah. Well, my daughter's just become a teacher in a primary school. She teaches year 4, and I was talking to her about this math thing, and I was like, it seems so easy now. There's like techniques you can use. And she said something like, but you don't have the relationship with numbers, which I thought, well, there you go, I suppose. It's like learning to drive, but not knowing how to do all the proper stuff with it.
It's plus, suddenly you get all you need is one method which works for you, and then you're laughing.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But you are about to come to the Theatre Calon on the 8th of September with your show. It's called Beat the Beast. We'll talk about that in a moment, if that's all right, because
no problems.
You are, of course, the Beast from the chase. Did you fall into that by accident? How did that come about?
Well, the Power Reputation, when the ITV were putting together the show, unashamedly, it's a refinement of the Eggheads format, but instead of a load of experts, they wanted one person to take on a team of 4, which was great news for me because ITV soon realised we're very specialist people to be able to do this. So instead of thousands of people could be eggheads because you're covered by your teammates, there's less than 100 people in the country who could do our job.
Yeah.
And I played on the national quiz circuit. I represented Wales, and fortunately, I had a good reputation as when ITV said, look, we need someone who's a bit scary and intimidating, they all pointed at me for some strange reason. I don't know what. and my name is Labbett. It's French for the beast. So talk about good branding. That first series, I had a nickname, Sean didn't, and we did fairly well. And very quickly, when they did the audience research, they soon went, oh, blimey, we really like this nickname.
Yeah.
So this is why every chaser in the world has a nickname now, so I'm sorry about that, guys.
But it does sound like Bradley Walsh. It sounds like the sort of thing Bradley Walsh might come up with on the spur of a moment, but your nickname, The Beast, you've had it all your life, I suppose.
Oh, well, actually, my brother Phil, the big beast, all 6'9" of him, so it's... They talk about, this is why every chaser in the world has a nickname. So, sorry about that, guys. It's I'm lucky. I mean, my nickname works for me. I mean, a lot of other people, it wouldn't. This is actually the hardest thing now when you go around the world. They said finding the quizzes is not generally that big a problem. Finding the right nickname is quite hard.
But I think the whole cast, if for want of a better word, is it just works. I mean, everybody has their own characters. Everybody's got their thing, and everybody's got there's a bit, obviously, before every show now, Bradley Walsh says, who would you like to play? And it's a sort of a lottery, that bit, I suppose.
No, there's no lottery about it. The producers pick what they think is going to be the best team for the best chaser and vice versa.
Right.
So obviously they've got to... So, they look for things and go, if somebody's got a good connection to, say, the legal profession, they might well look at Sean. If somebody's got a story which suggests that I do, so they try and obviously cast the right people. Plus, unashamedly, the best chasers get the best teams because I keep the stats. So Paul and I, we keep going, oh, when are we going to get some of the nicer teams? And they say, it's your fault, you're too bloody good.
Yeah. But I mean, there's so many quizzes on TV now, and yours is, well, it's won so many awards. Well, 3 NCAs is no mean feat, but, I mean, what makes a good... 6 if
you include the Beat the Chasers, or 5, certainly. We really are, and we're double nominated this year, where it gets to the point now where we fancy our chances of winning another one, but then you never know. It's all down to. I mean, it's great that it's the great British public rather than the sort of the experts. But then when we won a BAFTA last year, we were like going, what? We won a BAFTA? Yeah. All my old colleagues from my university days were all going, he won a BAFTA.
I know. But I think as well, from the viewer's point of view, they watch a quiz show because they want the questions. There's a lot of messing about now.
Well, we have a fun show with a serious quiz at the heart of it, and that's Bradley's strength. I'm biased, but I think he's the best in the world right now, and he knows when to have a bit of fun with the contestants and when to get down with the serious bit.
Yeah,
and it's interesting. Generally, the number of times it comes down to people like to play along. They like to fancy a chance, and that's one reason I go around the country doing my thing, because almost it's like I always say, well, being the best is you've got to prove you're the best. So literally come and have a go if you think you're smart enough.
Yeah. Can you revise for a quiz? I hear people say...
You can certainly train and improve. The number of times I get answers right, and people say, how do you know that? And I said, well, I got it wrong the first time I heard it, but this is about the fifth or sixth time I've heard it in the last 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
And, you learn from your mistakes, as we do in life.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and that is one of the interesting things. I think you normally get it from one of the chasers more than anybody else, where they'll answer a really obscure question. They'll say, "How did you know that?" And you say, "Well, weirdly, I was doing a quiz last week and it came up in that." You think, "Well, what's the odds of that?"
I've had it where they said, "How did you know that so and so was the director of it?" I think it was Apollo 3. And this was in America, and I said, because I was watching it on the plane coming over. And the first thing it says is directed by Michael B. Jordan. I just went, I didn't know he directed it. And I always love the old Gary Player maxim, the harder you practice, the luckier you get.
Yeah.
And this one I mentioned, Paul, during the lockdown, him and his husband must have been quizzing 6, 8, 10 hours a day. And funnily enough, he went from good to great in that period of time. The lucky so-and-so, because he didn't know, I had family to look after. But the amount of, people say, how do you get that good? And the answer is he trained.
Yeah. But I think I think normal people, they will look at the credits for a film and just say, "Oh right," and then they'll come up in a quiz and they'll go, "Oh, I saw this the other day," and they can't pick it out.
I call this sticky memory, that ability to drag information back.
Yeah. So I mean, I notice as well that you're treading the board. You're doing pantomime every year. Do you find learning lines to be the same kind of memory muscle?
I find it quite tough, because lines, you've got to be precise and in an order, because otherwise it's not fair on the people you're working with. But I get generally that there's a sort of, you're getting worried, and a few days before and it all starts clicking into gear. Although funny enough, I have recurring nightmares of going on and doing a show and realising I don't know my lines at all.
Yes, we've all been there.
But I'm looking forward to this year, because this year's is basically the same panto as I did the year before. So I went Northwich last year and Oldham this year. Right. So famous last words, but I should turn up on day one being completely off book, because with my memory, it should pretty much still all be in there.
Yeah. With actors, nobody likes that person.
Well, I chat with them that, and they say something. Even on set, there's some people who are renowned as being really good at learning lines, and others are terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, I leant towards the terrible, and I've done some shows in my time where people just looking at me saying, "What are you saying?" It's just I used to sort of like, if it was in the sort of ballpark, that would do me.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I know Arj quite well, and he's a lovely guy, but he doesn't learn lines that way. So when he's done panto, the basic people work around him and just had to go. He'll say something, it will be vaguely in the right ballpark, and just ignore it and keep going with your words.
Yeah, definitely. But anyway, are you on the road with Meet the Beast? Beat the Beast, I should say.
Well, this is postponed from earlier on this year, so this will be the last one, and then I'm back on my day job, as it were.
Yeah.
So,
right. Brilliant. So you're coming to the Theatre Colwyn on the 8th of September, just in a couple of weeks.
That'll be the legendary
BBC broadcaster Owen Money. Tell us about it. What's going on with it?
Well, it's funny that I've got to say he's the most environmentally friendly comedian I've ever seen, because he recycles all the old jokes. They're just, and I go, I've heard this one, and the audience laugh away, and you go, okay, it's familiarity is what. But it works, and he's, obviously he's really good timing it, etc. and he's great fun to work with. I mean, as he pointed out the first time I met him, I was doing a BBC Radio Wales quiz, a sports quiz. He had a bunch of rugby league players, and Jason Mohammed had asked round, and he works on the principle, if you're going to get a ringer, get a good one, and I'm afraid we kind of took him apart. But right. So it's forgiven me for that just about now.
So the concept is a kind of a Q&A, is it? And then a quiz, is that how it works?
Yeah, so the first half is how I am, where do I get to, I generally say I'll answer any question apart from one, which is how much am I on? And, you let me in the back. There's very little I duck for the obvious reason that people want to hear what's going on in the tales, etc. And then the second half, we've got this really wonderful system we use it's a buzzer system, so we can cope with thousands. But it's everyone plays, and the top 2 or 3 get a chance to play me, where they've got a chance to beat me. They won't, but they've got a chance to beat me.
Does anybody ever beat you?
It's happened a couple of times. We have various systems. Every once in a while, you meet someone and you go, okay, you can play. Yeah. But what we generally do, if it's looking a bit easy for me or whatever, we have, as Owen calls it, we have Murphy rules, which is, let's just put it this way, suddenly it gets handicapped against me, and we'll leave it at that.
Right.
What he does effectively is they're standing by the buzzer. I'm all the way across the stage. So they've got a pretty good chance of getting to the buzzer before me. Well, you've got to give people a chance, otherwise, it's a... Yeah. I remember once when I was down in South Wales playing in a quiz leagues, etc., and I'd moved down to Swansea, and I was playing in one match, and I lost, and I was smiling afterwards, and they said, why are you smiling? I said, because that snapped about a 50-odd game winning streak in Newport, Cardiff and Swansea, but actually I enjoyed it way more. Yeah.
Have you always been a quizzer, even as a kid?
Yeah, you just don't realise I've got what you call a sticky memory. So when I'm like going around the tube, I'm clocking all the adverts. When you're going for the TV guide, and you can drag stuff back, and people are always astounded you can do it. There are a lot of really good quizzes out there. The difference is it's having the time to do it.
Absolutely.
I mean, they're always looking for the next chaser, but we're going to be looking down a generation. There's no doubt about that. And I joke the next chaser will be someone who's auditioned ideally for both Mastermind and Love Island. Because TV's got a physical component. In my case, sheer immense size proved very useful. Unashamedly, in Britain, America and Australia, they've all said the same thing. They're looking for a stunningly attractive woman who's a great quizzer.
Yep.
Not asking for much,
Well, you're stunningly attractive, Mark, so yeah.
Well, I'm distinctive. I couldn't get on some shows because I found out afterwards. They said, they'd have never let you on. You tower over the host. They're not going to let you loose.
Yeah, exactly. And before I let you go, I've got to ask you, because back in 2018, Anne Hegarty, she went on I'm a Celebrity. Do you ever fancy doing it?
I keep thinking about it, and the old thing is, I said, everybody's got their price, and you have to see what mine is. I think mine, the biggest problem, the meat trade's the meat inspector, and he taught me basic butchery, and I get hangry, there's no doubt about it. I said, you sure you want me in there? I said, if somebody crosses me and they go, oh, well, no food while they're getting their cigarettes out, I may well have them on the spit and be roasting them before they know what's hit them. And they've actually been 20 stone, I've got the power to do it. So it might be they go, who knows? Never say, I prefer to do strict leave only, but never say never. And ultimately, it'd be nice to do these kind of things.
Beat the Beast is coming to Theatre Calon on the 8th of September. Mark Labbett, it's been a treat to speak to you, my friend. Thanks for that.
No problems then.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers then.
Thanks a lot. Bye. So, September the 8th, that's a week on Thursday, the Beat the Beast show will be coming to the Theatre Calon. Box office number for the Theatre Calon, 01492 556677. That's 01492 556677. Go on, support your local theatres, ladies and gentlemen. They won't be there forever if you don't.
Stage and Screen with Andy Snowden. Let us know what you want to hear on WhatsApp with the number 01978 540 410. We love local. Calon FM.